The Mighty Nein is streaming on Amazon Prime, and here on Underdark Cellars, we are going to do our best to make or adapt recipes for every main character. Today, we are focusing on Bren, or Caleb, our favorite emotionally devastated wizard. If there could be one thing he could have back in this life, it would be his family and his cat, so I think making his mom's cooking would be the best thing for Bren. So we're going to be making the stew that his mom makes when Trent Igathon comes over to convince Bren to join the Soldiers Academy. Now for components, I'm assuming something green, something orange, and these anime-style mushrooms. Now, for the green, I'm thinking leeks. I'm trying to think mostly root vegetables, so leeks, carrots, and mushrooms are going to be the base of this. I think I've just been cursed this winter with drier, more sensitive eyes to anything remotely oniony because these leeks like sent me over the edge. We're also going to chop up a shallot along with a couple cloves of garlic. A couple, in my opinion, is like 12. So we're gonna cut up a good amount of garlic. We're gonna make sure that's nice and minced. I want these in as small pieces as possible, almost pasty, but not. Same with the carrots. I think that Caleb's mom would probably be really trying to put in an effort to impress Trent. He's clearly upper class, he's clearly more educated, more refined, and probably used to things that are more sophisticated. So I think she would try and put in an effort with, making the little notches and the mushrooms, which mushrooms are a great way to add bulk to a stew. They also add a nice, very, very subtle umami flavor. We're going to heat up some olive oil in that pan, and we're going to cook our leeks, which I had washed, rinsed, and then washed again. And then we're going to add the shallots and the carrots, and we're going to allow these things to kind of come together and cook for about 5 minutes just to start an initial sweat on those leeks. And then we're going to add in some dried thyme, rubbed sage, and salt. When you put spices in stew, use dry ones at the beginning and then finish with fresh ones because the fresh ones lose their potency if you put them in too early. That's just what I've found. So we're going to use dry ones first, except for tarragon. I didn't have dried tarragon, and then, but I thought it would be good. Anyway, yes, and also tarragon is largely used in French cooking, less so in German cooking, but you know what? I really think that Caleb's mom would try her absolute best here. Just to really just make Trent happy. So we're going to put some crushed garlic in there, or the minced garlic rather, along with some garlic powder and mushrooms. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, mushrooms are a great way to add bulk and umami, but we're going to start using some fancy mushrooms along with some baby bellas. We're going to add in some chicken bouillon. You could use chicken stock, but I just am using what I had. I had chicken bouillon on hand. It's likely Caleb's mom would have used like a stock or just water to like put this together for Trent. We're going to add in those sliced baby bellas from earlier, and then we're going to mix that all together and just let this cook down. And then we're gonna make sure that there's this fond on the bottom of the pan, and in the words of Anne Burrell, brown food tastes good. We're going to add a little bit of white wine and deglaze that fond on the bottom of the pan. And I switched to a wood spatula so I could try and scrape that up a bit. It's gonna taste so good. At this point, we're gonna add in the potatoes, give that all a stir, make sure everything is covered with, I added 8 cups of water, and we're going to let this cook until the potatoes are fork tender. Okay, we want them to be very, very soft. We want them to kind of melt in your mouth just a little bit. Now we're going to add our fresh herbs. So I'm adding in some more fresh sage, some fresh thyme, and I'm also going to add a little bit of fresh tarragon as well. Tarragon gets very wilty in heat, and so it'll kind of shrivel up. And then we're going to take the lid off. You'll see it's kind of reduced a little bit, but I wasn't super happy with it being like chunky like this. So we're going to blend half of it. We're going to take half of the stew and we're going to blend it, and make sure that your blender is sealed well, and that you're also not doing this in like a Vitamix kind of blender, because you run the risk of it exploding everywhere. So be very, very careful. I had to put a towel on top of my blender because the seal isn't perfect. And then we're going to add that back to the pot. And then I feel like Caleb's mom would splurge with just a little bit of cream from a cow, you know, just like a little bit. And then look, we're gonna add those super cute anime style mushrooms back into the pot. We're gonna mix them in so that they just cook a little bit. We want them to have like a bit of a meaty texture to them, so we're not gonna cook them down too much. We're gonna transfer that to a bowl. I added some more fresh thyme. I added a sprinkle of smoked paprika and then another swirl of cream because I feel like just makes this a little fancier. And then, you know, there were a couple dollops, so I just added some more dollops there, and there we are. And I think she'd love that. I think Caleb would love this. Serve this with some crusty bread, and you'll be good to go. Now, Frumpkin is Caleb's childhood cat, and Frumpkin is also sadly no longer with us. And the first time we see Frumpkin, Caleb is actually trying to summon him via magic to bring him back, at least just for a little bit, and that broke me. I am a proud cat mom. I have 3. I would do anything for my babies. So today we are going to make a treat. I like to think that maybe Caleb would go catch a fish and try and make a special treat for Frumpkin. So we are going to make like a mock churu almost for our cats. So I'm gonna poach some salmon. I removed the skin just because I didn't want any lingering scales to be in the churu. And then I also added some bonito flakes to the broth just to give it like an extra fishy flavor. Also, my cats personally love bonito flakes. They are a great treat for them. So that's one right there. We're going to also strain that water because we're going to require some of that water. We're gonna add it back so we can get that really nice smooth paste consistency. We're going to add that back to the pot, and then I also added some catnip to try and make fishy catnip tea.
There's a wild combination of smells in my kitchen right now.
And then after like 10 minutes, we're going to drain that again, and then we're going to just add a little bit at a time to the salmon to try and get like the right consistency for it to blend well.
Oh, what am I doing? Anything for cats, truly.
Like I said, we're trying to go for like a churu consistency, and so we're definitely gonna add more liquid than what we added, but I'd rather add a little bit at a time instead of ending up with like a soupy mess right from the beginning. So just tiny bits of water as you go.
Hi! Does this smell good? Oh no. It's vacuumed shut. Oh no. Oh no. It's stuck. Well, it's still stuck. I mean, well, Frumpkin's technically a ghost, so...
We are going to submerge this in very hot water for 2 minutes, and then we're going to submerge this exact same part in cold water for like 10 seconds. See if that works. Let's see.
Yes! Now I want this a moussey consistency.
I caught myself almost putting it like back into the regular blender, and I absolutely did not want to deal with that again. So we're using an immersion blender to try and get this to the right consistency. It took me a couple minutes to make sure that everything was like as pureed as it was going to get with an immersion blender. I did it on the low setting first, and then I did it on the high setting, and I let it run on the high setting for about 5 minutes, and it became this like really light peachy color. So we're gonna try plating this up for my cats and see how it goes.
There's my boy. There's my buddies. What is that? What is that? You want to try it? You want to try this? Here. It's like a churu. I made it for you. Ooh. Whoa, is it yummy? We hate it. Mommy needs your fat ass. Salem took one lick and immediately ran away. He'll pass me the chunky thigh. What is that? What is that? You want to try some? Want to try some? Pink cat. Do you guys know what I did for you? You're so ungrateful. I wonder if it's because it's cold? Bunch of ungrateful children. That's exactly what you are. What if I pretend to put a churu on a plate? We're gonna play a mind game. Wow, you want to chew? Salmon. Yummy salmon. What's that? How's that? You want to try it? It's so good.
That's gonna be a cat.
No. Oh my gosh, after all I do for you. You know, there's a dead kitty named Frumpkin who would love this so much. I took all your favorite things and I put them in one thing. I'm crashing out. What if I put bonito flakes on it? You like that? I feel like we're at bargaining. Are we bargaining? What is that? I know Mom doesn't normally let you on the counter. Okay, we'll see if you'll eat it. So you needed more bonito flakes is what I'm seeing. Yummy, is that good? Do you like that? You're gonna eat that and leave? See, Moms, no! We're taking this on the road. We're not gonna try this at all. No, you don't want this. You don't want it.
Damn it.
Puppies. Here you go. How's that? Is that better? You wanna try it here? How about now? Still hate it? Please eat this. Please eat this. Please eat this. Please eat this. Eat this!
Of course, it would be the most shy, gentle senior cat that none of you have seen on camera who adored the churu. So yes, this is Luna. Drink her in. She actually just turned 10 years old. So anyway, but she loved it, and she had the rest of the mix reserved just for her because she is a woman of sophisticated tastes. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the episode. If you liked what you saw, smash that like button. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, drop those down below. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. We are at 908 subscribers, which is kind of crazy. And make sure you ring the bell for notifications so you're the first to know when new videos go live. Sorry this took me a little longer to get out than I had anticipated. Next time we are doing Ford from the Mighty Nein. So he's next up on the list. And let's see, anything else? Adventurers, as always, take care of yourselves, do something nice for someone else, and I think that's it. So adventurers, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.